My name is Abdul-Malik Ahmad. I am the head coach and the director of Sports Silat in USA. Pencak Silat is a martial arts that is indigenous to Southeast Asia, countries of Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei. It is growing very fast, with countries, over 70 countries now participating. Now, they have tournaments all throughout the region, so we decided that this tournament would be a really good one to attend, mainly because it's not super huge, and also will be the first time for many of our athletes. So this is the first international tournament. The Singapore Open was the perfect tournament for them to attend. We want to become more competitive, so we have to compete internationally so we can get experience. So hopefully we can have tournaments in the United States and also send our athletes to compete at a more advanced level with athletes that have been doing this for a much longer time in countries that have been doing it for a much longer time.
I really like Silat because it kind of incorporates a little bit of everything from kind of every martial arts. So a lot of martial arts just focus on like hands or feet, and it's really forward movements. But Silat, we work on ground techniques and takedowns, and also your hands and your legs, and just kind of perfecting everything and becoming a well-rounded fighter so that anything that comes your way, you're prepared.
I was really excited when I first arrived in Singapore because I had never been to basically any other country out of the US. And it was a really interesting experience. I was really excited. I was looking at all the stuff around in the airport.
It was a long flight, slept a lot. Kind of nervous but excited at the same time.
So leading up to the trip, I was actually pretty nervous just because it was like my first international tournament, right? I'm like, I don't know how I'll do there, what the competition will be like. I mean, because I was picturing the guys at the competition to be like top-notch.
We are going to the weigh-ins, and we are taking the metro.
Is it called the metro?
What's it called? Train, I think it's called. This is my second international Silat tournament. I've been doing Silat for about 12, 11 years now. I was really excited to go to Singapore because I was really excited to compete, but I was also nervous because I knew that the competition level would be higher or greater this time than it was in Belgium.
Once we got outside, I realized it was really, really hot outside.
Arriving to Singapore, it all happened really fast. We landed and then immediately got onto the train and went to the arena for weigh-ins, and so that all happened in the morning, and we didn't even get to stop at the hotel. We just had to go straight to weigh-ins.
The interesting thing was when Afrah wasn't able to come with us in the beginning because her passport it was expiring too soon.
Traveling to Singapore was challenging. Do I have to do all of it? Okay. So traveling to Singapore was challenging because my passport was not in the time for Singapore because it was a couple months close to expiration, so they didn't allow it. So the rest of the team went, and I stayed behind a day and went early and got my passport renewed and got on a plane.
Think we can get our team like that at some point?
So once we got to the weigh-ins, I had an issue because for my weight class, I was about like 5 pounds over, or like a very little amount over. And they said you can't go in this weight class if you're even that little amount over. So I put on my jacket, put on my hoodie, and then I ran around the block outside, and it was really hot.
Is that good?
Yeah, made it perfectly.
So then I kind of sweated it out, and then by the end I made it to the exact weight amount that I needed.
I have to explain to the camera.
0.25 kilograms over. I took off my shirt, my socks. That was 0.05 kilograms over. So I took a jog around wearing my sweatshirt, so I'm sweating like crazy. And I'm exactly at 51 now. So I made it back.
Weigh-ins were interesting. I didn't make weight by like a pound, so I had to basically just go and sweat it all out. And so I did a bunch of exercises. I wore like 2 coats as I ran and did different drills.
Okay. You're good.
My name is Alpha Pereira. I'm one of the coaches of the U.S. Silat Federation, and I've been doing this for approximately 4 years now. So I had the opportunity to attend the 18th Asian Games, and it was wonderful. I got to see some of the finals. I got there on the last day of the competition, so I saw a lot of the finals, and it was bigger than I expected, and it was something I'd always remember. And of course, I went there first, and then I met up with the rest of the team in Singapore, and everything worked out perfect.
Abdul-Malik, get 4, just get 4, because we're not going to eat that. What kind of food is this anyway? It's Malay. It's Malay.
My plane delayed in Dallas for 2 hours. My layover at San Francisco was 45 minutes. So I missed my flight at San Francisco as well. So I arrived at San Francisco at 12 in the morning with no flight to go to.
So at first I was a bit overwhelmed, just because like they looked like they were practicing like from day up to night. Their coaches were like talking them through, and it just looked like they were ready to go. I mean, so was I, but like it was just a bit overwhelming to watch.
I was kind of intimidated when I saw some of the other athletes and stuff, because when I was watching some of the sparring matches, even the little kids who were like 6, 7 years old were like doing some really advanced techniques. And I was like, what are the advanced people my age going to be doing? But it was really cool watching all the different styles and different people do forms, spar. It was really interesting.
It was, seeing the other competitors was really interesting to see, especially the younger ones that were like 5 years old, 4 years old, because I started when I was that young too. So seeing other kids that really have an interest for Silat at that young age was really interesting.
Even though this was an open tournament, so an open tournament allows anybody can come. They don't have to be part of the national team. They can be from different local schools, from different countries. People came from, we came from the US, from Indonesia. People usually come from, in some of the other Singapore Opens, they come from Malaysia, from India, from even China. You saw a whole variety of different abilities, athletic abilities, and their abilities in Pencak Silat. So it was beautiful, and to see the support that the team had was really a good experience. I think for myself, I've been to international tournaments, but for the team to actually see how people actually take Silat, Pencak Silat seriously in Singapore and in other Southeast Asian countries, that was a really good experience.
So, like I said, I was really scared at first. I was sitting in the bleachers observing. The athletes were really good. I was a bit overwhelmed, like I said, but Abdul-Malik was talking to me, saying that like, you got this and things like that, so that motivated me a bit. And I was thinking to myself, if these guys can do it, then eventually, hopefully, I can do it too. Once I was performing, I wasn't really thinking much. It was sort of like autopilot and adrenaline just rushing, so I was just doing what I was practicing, and competition was great.
It was really scary at first. I was really nervous going up, but while doing the form, I managed to use that nervousness and transform it into like momentum. So I think I did pretty well. Overall, I did finish in 3 minutes and 1 second out of 3 minutes. Happy. Other competitor I thought was really good too. He was from Singapore. Honestly, I don't know, but he was really good. That's all I have to say. We'll see. I'm really tired, out of breath, drinking a lot of water. But yeah.
All right, Shayan. Good job.
Thank you.
So my competition happened towards the end of the day, on the first day, and it was kind of agonizing waiting until my competition happened, because what happened was I fell asleep just kind of trying to pass time, and then they woke me up. Some person came up to me saying, "Are you Ammar?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, you're going up right now." So I had to quickly get ready, and then at that moment I was kind of really stressed out, because I was like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do?" During the fight, I kind of got a little level-headed. He was a pretty good fighter. I got a good few hits on him. He took me down a few times, which is the reason I think that he won the match, but I still think I did pretty okay.
So I rebooked my flight to Singapore, and I was kind of at the airport like, I don't know where to go. So luckily my dad had a friend in San Francisco. I went to the San Francisco airport and got to Singapore at 6 in the morning on Sunday. And then 2 hours later, I had my competition. The experience traveling was interesting because it was my first time flying by myself, so it was an interesting story. But it was pretty cool to do it by myself. I still had my mom with me like throughout the whole thing, like had her on my phone ready to call her, so I made sure I had everything. But it was an interesting experience. So. other competitors and athletes, they were really invested in it, and they had their mindset on the whole thing. So it kind of threw me off because they've trained for this like a lot, and I had it only one practice per week. So that kind of scared me. So the other girl that I competed with was really good. She was really professional about it. She seemed like she had a lot of experience with it, so it's kind of interesting to compete with someone. My event went faster than I expected, but throughout the thing it was good. I finished it, I did my best. I could have done better, but I was okay with it.
Are you ready? You can do it. Don't be tired.
I was tired because of the plane ride and how much rushing we were doing and how we didn't really have a lot of downtime. So when we did have downtime, when we were waiting for my fight, I was mostly just resting. And the first day, I actually didn't have any fights, so I didn't have anything to do, so I was just sleeping and resting up for the next day. And then the next day, my fight was, I think, towards the end of the day as well, so that was the same as in Belgium. And then I got ready for my fight an hour before, and then they called my name, and I went and I competed. While I was competing, when I got up to the ring, I just told myself that I was going to do the best I could.
Come on.
The girl that I fought against she was really good, and she put up a really good fight.
junior tournament. We brought a junior team, and comparing to the rest of the competition, up-and-coming athletes, I think in a few years we definitely would be a force to reckon with. The U.S. would definitely have international status, if you will. And I thought overall we couldn't go wrong with going to that tournament. It was definitely a wonderful experience for the athletes, the coaches, and everyone that came along with us.
Getting a medal at an international tournament, but also in Asia, that felt, I felt even more accomplished. It felt really good. It felt like my training was starting to pay off and that I was actually moving forward with my abilities.
Before going to the competition, I didn't know if I was going to win a medal at all, but then when I actually received the medal, I felt pretty accomplished. I mean, because I was given a bye for my match before, and when I fought the guy, I was automatically given a 3rd place, which is pretty good.
To be awarded at an international event, it was really cool to do it. To be there at least, like that was the best part. But being awarded, it was something, it's an accomplishment.
So I learned how to like cope with the, I wouldn't say stress, but like the nervousness that you have leading up until competition day. I also learned that if you're scared at first, don't be, because with proper training, you can be as good as your competition.
I learned that if you put in the hours to train and you do the work, that it will pay off. Leading up to the tournament in Singapore, I was going to the gym like 2 to 3 times a week and doing high intensity training with a trainer, and then I was also doing Silat training like 3 times a week. So I had a full schedule of training and I was really taking it seriously because I wanted to do the best that I could and make sure that my performance was the best.
So leading up to the trip, we spent a lot of time practicing. We had weekly practices, and actually we had multiple practices during the week. Some of the athletes practiced on their own, but we definitely made sure that we practiced as a team together once a week. Actually, a lot of the students, a lot of the athletes practiced 3 or 4 times a week leading up to this tournament. So that was really good to see the dedication of the students practicing and taking this competition seriously.
So leading up to the competition, I was really nervous because I was going internationally and I was competing with other people who are in the same style, because all the other tournaments were different styles. They didn't know anything about you. So performing in the same style, they knew all the little mistakes that you make. So I was like really nervous because I needed to make sure I made a good impression because I was representing the United States.
One thing I think we need to improve on, we need to have our own weapons, our own Toya, our own Golok, because we had to use what was ever given to us, and working with your weapon, whatever it may be, you get one with your weapon and it helps, improves your performance.
The Singapore, how their fighting styles, how it's kind of different, how they start teaching people at a different age, their overall Silat, they teach the same moves, but they just kind of teach it in a different way. And I learned a lot from the actual fight that I had, what I have to work on, and what I just need to improve on a little bit.
The competition was important, but more important was the training leading up to the competition. And then when they were there performing and getting experience to see what a real competition is like. And this wasn't even one of the bigger competitions. This actually was a smaller competition, but it really gave them an idea of what Pencak Silat is, how the rules are, how the judges are. You could see it's a step above, we have the local competitions where some of the judges are just, judges that they're not official judges. Everybody was in uniform, the structure was good, and everything was very professional.
Yeah, Singapore was amazing. We went to the hotel where they filmed Crazy Rich Asians. I got to see the cool boat at the top of the hotel. We also watched a light show at the heart of the city, and you could see like the corporate buildings and things like that at night. It was really nice.
At Singapore, I went to see a light show. That was really pretty and cool. I also went to the mall, and we kind of walked around a bit, and we ate dinner there.
So while we were in Singapore, we visited a few tourist destinations. We went to Marina Bay Gardens. It's this huge garden area. You should look it up. It's really beautiful. They have these huge like flower structures that they've built with like plants on the top, and they have a huge like kind of canopy forest type thing, and like a river running through with like a huge structure in the middle. The food was amazing. There were some really interesting food dishes that we had. One particularly wasn't the best that I had. Everyone else got really good food, but my food dish wasn't that good. But other than that, all the other food dishes were really nice. They were really good.
It's good to compete with people that know the same thing, instead of like, you know, at the local tournament where they're kind of like, oh wow, who are you? So it was a good experience. I encourage it completely.
Yeah, thank you, Abdul-Malik Alpha, to all the coaches, and Pencak Silat Federation of USA. It was a great trip, very eye-opening, and I enjoyed it.
I'm really thankful that I got this opportunity with the Silat Federation, United States Silat Federation. It was a great learning experience and a great way for me to develop my abilities and to just take them to the next level. So yeah.
It was a truly memorable trip, and I would highly recommend anybody who wants to join Silat because you get to go, after training and stuff, of course, you get to go on trips like this, and you get to do amazing, cool activities and learn a lot.